They're two of the most important women in American sports history, and they're still just 23 years old. Former college rivals who've brought millions of eyes to the women's game. One, a game-changing offensive player looking to make a Curry-like mark on the WNBA. The other, a Rodman-esque blend of rebounding, defense, and trash talk. Here's how Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese are making waves.
Martin looking. Here's Clark. She fires and goes!
Stolen away by Angel Reese.
Clark pushes Angel Reese, and Angel Reese gets right up into Caitlin Clark.
Long before they ever clashed, Clark and Reese were basketball prodigies in their respective states. In Des Moines, Iowa, young Clark was dominating boys and girls. Reese had similar issues finding suitable competition against girls her age in the Baltimore area. By the time Clark got to Dowling Catholic High School, she already had the attention of D1 coaches nationwide. That interest only exploded as Clark went on to a record-setting tenure at Dowling. Meanwhile, Reese was actually a higher-ranked recruit coming out of St. Francis Academy, where she averaged a double-double as a freshman, led her team in points, rebounds, assists, and blocks as a sophomore, then averaged roughly 23 points and 19 rebounds as a junior. She finished her high school career as an All-American, a four-time conference champion, and the Baltimore Sun's High School Female Athlete of the Year in 2020. She also led her AAU team to an EYBL championship in 2018, lifting team takeover over Clark's former squad, the All-Iowa Attack, whom Clark had led to a title in 2016. Reese's high school career foreshadowed the success and controversy that would follow in subsequent years. She was suspended to start her junior year after a fight in a preseason scrimmage that began with Reese punching an opponent in the face. During Reese's senior year, an opposing coach was fired after DMs emerged in which the coach criticized Reese's lack of humility and impulse control while chalking her success up to nothing more than genetics. Such racial undertones would continue to accompany criticisms of Reese going forward. Reese walked into Maryland as the nation's #2 ranked recruit as part of a historic class that also featured Clark, Paige Beckers, and Cameron Brink, among others. Reese overcame a Jones fracture in her right foot to put together an impressive freshman season, then averaged a double-double as a sophomore before entering the transfer portal and deciding to play for flamboyant head coach Kim Mulkey at LSU. With one of the sport's most controversial coaches behind her and a powerhouse team around her, Reese became a household name at LSU, where she officially became the Bayou Barbie. That transfer also put her on a collision course with Clark that would transform the women's game. As the 2020 recruiting class's collegiate careers unfolded, Clark emerged as the best of the bunch. She averaged an NCAA leading 26.6 points per game to go along with a Big Ten conference leading 7.1 assists as a freshman. Clark's range and sheer audacity, exemplified by her 9.5 three-point attempts per game, stirred memories of a young Curry taking the nation by storm at Davidson. As a sophomore, she led the country in both scoring and assists. But it was her junior season that launched her and the women's game into another stratosphere. After dominating another regular season in which she averaged a D1 leading 8.6 assists to go with 27.8 points, Clark finally made her mark on the NCAA tournament, leading the Hawkeyes to the championship game by scoring more points in a single tournament than any man or woman had before. The legacy of Clark's 2023 run was the unprecedented attention her performances commanded from a national audience. However, many began to question whether Clark's growing fame was a product of racial biases. This tension boiled over in the 2023 championship game. With the Tigers' victory all but sealed, Reese mocked Clark by imitating the same John Cena-style "you can't see me" celebration that Clark herself had performed earlier in the tournament, with Reese then pointing to her ring finger. The public backlash to that seemingly harmless competitive ribbing only reinforced the narrative that Clark's whiteness aided her reputation as a media darling. Among the people to come to Reese's defense was Clark herself. Nevertheless, the budding rivalry proved marketing gold for women's basketball, and luckily for the NCAA, both stars still had one more college season in them. Reese averaged roughly 19 points and 13 rebounds for the defending champion Tigers as a senior, while Clark broke the NCAA's single-season three-point record previously shared by Curry and left college with the highest scoring average of any woman in history. By the time the 2024 tournament rolled around, fans were begging for another clash between Iowa and LSU, which they would get in the Elite Eight. That rematch broke the all-time women's viewership record that the Iowa-LSU final had set just a year earlier. 12.3 million Americans watched as Clark poured in 41 points, 12 assists, and 7 rebounds to vanquish Reese and the Tigers. The full measure of Clark's generational impact came in the 2024 championship game. Though her Hawkeyes fell to #1 overall seed South Carolina, a third straight record audience tuned in to watch it all unfold. With 18.9 million viewers, the 2024 title game was the first to outdraw the men's championship game, becoming the most watched basketball game of any kind since 2019. And with Clark and Reese headlining the 2024 WNBA draft just days later, it became the most watched WNBA program in 24 years. Much of that has been attributed to the unprecedented influence of Clark. But don't discount Reese's role in all of this. Every superhero needs a rival. And the fact Reese seems to revel in stirring things up and playing the villain only adds to this made-for-TV drama, as does the fact Clark and Reese were drafted to geographical rivals in Indiana and Chicago. Both have lived up to their own hype during their brief WNBA careers thus far. As a rookie, Clark dragged Indiana to its first 500 season and playoff appearance in 8 years, breaking the league's single-season assist record in the process. Clark was the All-Star Game's leading vote-getter, teamed with Reese in that contest, and she became the first rookie since Candace Parker in 2008 to be selected to the All-WNBA first team. One finance professor and valuation expert estimated that Clark was responsible for more than a quarter of the WNBA's 2024 revenue, adding that the rookie's economic impact on the city of Indianapolis was $36.5 million. As for Reese, she broke the W's single-season rebounding record while setting a new standard for consecutive double-doubles. While injuries have slowed both in their sophomore campaigns, they've continued to rewrite what's possible for women's basketball. Clark's games are often broadcast on national television and move to bigger arenas, with the Fever superstar now boasting the prestigious title of Nike Signature Athlete.
We're live on WNIK, and as usual, we're talking about Caitlin Clark.
Her peers may never jump on the Clark bandwagon, but everyone associated with the WNBA will continue to reap the rewards of it in the coming years. As for Reese, the double-double machine has a signature shoe of her own, deals with major brands like Reese's and McDonald's, and she's appeared on the cover of Vogue. The most followed WNBA star on social media, Reese was also named one of the cover athletes for NBA 2K26. There are still many chapters left to write in the careers of Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese, but at 23 years old, they've already made the type of seismic impact most superstars go entire careers without.